shining bright. Stories of struggle, stories of life.
Welcome back, y'all. Cappuccino here at the table of another great episode of Let's Talk Local. Got Nico behind the scenes there. We have a table full of people. Nico don't even have a chance to get on the microphone today, but that's fine. A little bit quiet for Nico today. I'm okay with that. Listen, if you like what you see here today, don't be afraid to go to the old Google box, YouTube 216 Creator Studios. Like, share, subscribe, ding that bell for the future notification. That way we appreciate your support. Hey, listen, Austin May is back in the house. We had him here on a veteran show because he's kind of a superhero.
Do what I can.
Yes, and I love having you here. And you brought your team of greatness with you at the table. So I'm just going to kind of hand off the ball to you and let you go rampant, and then I'll just try to poke some questions at you and see where we go.
Yeah, it's going to be a great conversation. So I'm Austin May, and I've been a few things in my life, but McHenry local, born and raised, and now I'm running for McHenry County Board. But that's the least interesting thing about me. Army officer, former teacher, very small entrepreneur, and just trying to see what Chicagoland, what McHenry County is today, and will be tomorrow. It's a big question, but we've got a lot of potential here.
Well, the potential is great because you can only go in one direction, right? And that's up. And that's all we really focus on here, especially in McHenry County, which is fantastic. And obviously, we got some power hitters at the table, too, in McHenry County, which I'm honored to have at our table.
It's going to be a good one. So next to me is Sue. Sue?
I'm Sue Dobbe Leahy. I own Dobbe Marketing and Public Relations. I've been in the county for more than 30 years. I've had a business here. I've owned a downtown office building and just very involved with a lot of different areas of the community.
That's an understatement.
It is. Everywhere I go, I see Sue. The galas, and she's always
Look at you. Like, what a great thing to see everywhere.
You know what I mean? It's absolutely, and she's always hosting something too, because she's part of that structure, which is key in this. And so when you see greatness out there, you know that Sue's behind it somewhere. Absolutely.
That was beautiful.
I'm Anna Bennett, and I, like Austin, have been many things in my lifetime. I was a newspaper journalist for a very long time, and then kind of stepped away to be a mom to my twins, who are 17, and then started my own business. I now do graphic design, writing, editing, all kinds of communications things.
Nice.
And also I was on the Woodland School Board in Gurnee for 4 years and served as the president for 2 years. So just kind of always trying to get involved in my community and do what I can to help make it a better place for us all to live.
That's huge.
I'm newer to McHenry County, just moved here last year, but just loving everything about it, really. Happy to be here.
We got another one. She's never leaving now.
Now you can't leave. That's awesome. So, I'm going to kick off a quick question because I know it's going to be an easy answer. Why McHenry?
I mean, Stockholm Syndrome for me. So my family goes back a long way, I'll say. Lots of farmers and ranchers in my history. My grandfather was a pig farmer and cattle farmer here. But after, 6 years in D.C. and around the world, 2018 to 2024, I said, it's time to come back home and take this next step in the chapter. And so coming back here and sort of reestablishing roots. So Sue and I are in the Rotary Club, and I only just joined that in the fall. Just another thing of, what is happening in McHenry County? What can I do for the county, for the community? And relearning all of that.
You've been away for a minute, right? And then you came, but I mean, you're familiar here. So we have ancestor roots for you here.
Yes.
So that's a great meaning of why. Sue, what about you?
I have ancestor roots here too.
Wow.
My great-grandma, my grandma was Anna Sheridan. She was born in Woodstock on a farm to immigrant parents from Ireland. And she was one of Chicago's first policewomen in 1914.
Really?
Yes, and she served, she was 34 when she got the job, and she served for 20 years, and while she was there, she went to school and got her law degree, and started practicing law in her 50s after she ended her career as a police officer. So that's my little McHenry County history. But other than that, I've lived in northern Illinois my whole life. So I've been in this area in Crystal Lake since 91. And
Hey, that's when I was born.
Yep, so was my son.
Be quiet.
That's okay. That's
Not
okay.
a day over 50.
I have been blessed to be a big part of this community. As you said, I've gotten involved in a few things, and that's been a joy for me. And I'm just really proud of I think we've got a great county.
I agree.
You said only up, but we're in a really good place to go up from.
Yes, 100%. And you're right. You guys create the bar every time too. So other counties are usually like, well, when I'm somewhere else, I'm hearing, well, what is McHenry doing? You're the bar. You're creating that standard, which is awesome. Otherwise, you would be at my table. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, that's fair.
But it is fair. What about you?
I do not have roots here at all. I am a total transplant.
Yeah, me too.
Lived in Lake County for 15, 16 years. But recently, kind of thinking about moving on to the next act of my life. My kids will be graduating from high school this year. And
New journey.
Nesting.
Yeah. So I ended up in McHenry County because to me it feels more like home. I grew up in Louisiana, very rural Northwest Louisiana. And I ended up buying an old farmhouse in Ringwood, and it just kind of felt like home. At heart, I am a country girl. I like to be barefoot out in the grass
That's
in
awesome.
the summer,
absolutely.
and so just that touching grass, connecting
with the earth.
feels natural to me. And I worked in Crystal Lake in around 2011, 12. So I was familiar with the area and knew that it was, a great place.
Yep.
And it's been interesting to see since I moved back how much change and development has happened since that time. And it just seems to me to be all for the better.
I want to know how this works, just due to the fact that I'm a Chicago kid. I'm a Southside Chicago Italian kid. So different culture. Completely, right? My mother, however, a dairy farm girl. My father, an Italian Chicago guy. How that even matched up, I don't know. So I still can't get that story, right? But when I moved here, what I thought was amazing, because I wasn't used to it, is how it has a small town feel, but yet be such a big community. How do you keep that warm and fuzzy? We walked on our first Christmas here, and I've told this story before, but we walked our first Christmas here in Crystal Lake down to the downtown parade. And listen, they had bonfires on lawns where people were calling us over to give us hot chocolate. Listen, the things you see on fire in Chicago are not fire pits on the lawn. You know what I mean? So this was it was a culture shock for me.
Oh, absolutely.
And I was in love ever since. And then the farther I've gone all the way down to the Johnsburg area, my partner Kent here, everybody knows Kent, is from McHenry. Not from McHenry, but lives deeper into the McHenry side. And he's given me the show. He has shown me around and shown me what it's about. Anything from agriculture to the lakes to the community and who's who and where you want to be and how they connect. It's amazing on the small town feel. Is there a trick to that? And I think that
there is.
you and I think Sue would have a good answer for that too.
I think you have to, on a cultural level, you have to both embrace history and all the natural resources and that slow, steady progress forward where people can actually come in from Louisiana or internationally and become a McHenryite. What do we call ourselves?
McHenryans?
McHenryans?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I don't know. We'll work on it. Let's work on it.
We're
Let's
going to
work on
patent
it.
something. But so my aunt is actually doing this really cool sort of historiological project with the McHenry Historical Society. So my great-grandfather built silos across the entire region. And so far, my aunt has found 200 of these silos that he's built from, southern Wisconsin to northern Illinois, between Rockford and Lake Michigan. And they've all got this very particular pinnacle, this top concrete sort of signature art piece on them. And that's how you can tell them. But these silos, some are still being used as silos. Some have been turned into parts of McMansions. Some have been turned into sort of monuments or whatever. But
So they're integrated.
Into the 21st century. They're not necessarily being used the way that they were 100 years ago, but you still have this appreciation for what came before and what can happen tomorrow.
So there's no waste. This is our history, and we're going to build it into our future. I love that.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. What about you, Sue? What keeps
it's
this
happening
smoking?
all around us. I mean, I'm anchored in Crystal Lake, but all over the county. And, Crystal Lake, the Depot Park's being renovated so that it can be a festival park. And that's something that's going to give us an opportunity to do more in kind of the hub of the county with events and music and gatherings of all
Let's
different
talk
kinds.
about the festival park, shall we?
Yeah, sure.
That sounds like a fun time. So where are we at with this project, the festival park?
I'm not sure.
Is it in motion?
Oh, yes.
It is.
Oh,
Okay.
yes. It's in construction. So if you go downtown Crystal Lake by the metro station, they've excavated that whole area.
That's
and
all
there's-
that construction that I see
Exactly,
there.
and that's where it's going to be. So when we have Johnny Appleseed Festival or
That's a fun time,
or more. I mean, right now we have the events that we have. What the city is looking at is how to expand that and expand the cultural opportunities that are in our county wide. I mean, we're not just looking at for Crystal Lake, but music, art. They're bringing in bench art. They're bringing in. What do you call those poems that are 5 lines long?
Oh, haiku.
Thank you. And they're putting that throughout the community. I mean, so they're opening up doors to new types of art and culture, in addition to the Rouse Center, Judas Ballinger's dance studio.
I
all
love
the
that.
fabulous things that we have. Encore Music Academy that we have in
Yep.
the area.
Yes.
My daughter goes there.
Yeah, you know about that one.
Oh, yes, I do.
And those are the things that our county does. And seriously, when you look around other counties, they have these little snippets of these things. But we really have in McHenry County kind of an embraced attitude
It's a
towards
tapestry.
these things.
Yeah.
And one other thing I love about this county, and you talked about being with the newspaper. I was talking to Diana Wallace from the Northwest
Yes.
Herald. And she has a story that she said when she came here, she's from Iowa, she said, when we run a story about a problem, people would come to us and ask how they could help that company. Like there was a woman who had a food truck and it started on fire. And so they wrote the story about it in the paper. And this other woman came forward and went to Diana because she wanted to be anonymous. And she said, I want to give these people some money to help them get back on their feet. But I don't want, I don't want people to know, I don't want it to be a story in the newspaper. I just want to help them out. I can do that. I would like to give them a check. And she said, so we helped facilitate this. And this is what happens in McHenry County. Like you said, that Chicago thing. I have a funny feeling we wouldn't see a lot of that in Chicago. Maybe certain neighborhoods.
Right.
But, in McHenry
Right.
County,
Community is a
this
hard thing
what
to
we
come
do.
by, and it can be broken easier than it can be built. It takes generations feeding on each other to build something up into
It does.
this sort of, anonymous, no problem, let me help.
Yeah.
My neighbor, my community member,
Yes.
doesn't matter.
Well, listen, in the city, it took a village, right? When I did something wrong, my neighbor was scolding me.
Yeah.
Right.
From 5 blocks down and then being like, I'm calling your father.
Right.
We got disciplined by neighbors who were yelled at. They were the first ones to feed us at noon while we were playing running bases on their lawn. It was the neighborhood took care of the neighborhood, but depends on what neighborhood, what block are you on? There's a lot of that. What you guys have here is an ecosystem. It was cultured, and then it grew naturally and organically to where it's at. And being acceptant from the outside. So when you go to a lot of mixers and you go to a lot of these things, you see a lot of familiar faces. But then you see a handful of faces you've never seen before. And what's amazing is it's so open and welcoming that they become the new familiar faces.
Exactly.
And then so forth and so on. So that's why I say the small town, and you had a perfect answer on that, small town feel.
Can I weigh in on that?
Yeah,
Please,
absolutely,
are you
please.
starting? Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
As somebody who has only been in a resident here for several months, I can tell you that we have felt so welcome. So, and just to give you an idea, I love the story that you told about the newspaper and people pitching in to help. So as a young journalist, one of the stories I always tell about how I just fell in love with journalism is that I wrote a story, it was right before Christmas, and a family, it was a grandmother and grandfather, were all of a sudden raising their grandkids. Their daughter went missing, went AWOL, was not interested in raising them. So, and there were like 5 of them. It was a lot. And so I wrote a story for the newspaper about what was going on, and they were kind of running into some roadblocks, getting like assistance through the usual, channels from the state, parish, whatever. And our community just wrapped its arms around that family, and they had an amazing Christmas, and everybody stepped in and helped. That to me is what I always look for, is that kind of community. And I feel that here. I mean, just having been here for several months, I see on, the Facebook groups I'm on, I need such and such. Can somebody, I need diapers. I need food. Can somebody help? Somebody's always there to help. There is a Facebook group in McHenry where people decorate these little rocks and they leave them in different places around McHenry. And if you find one, you grab it, you take a picture, tag it in the group, and you can keep it or you can rehide it. And this is just my understanding of it.
I
so
love
might
this
be getting
game.
some of the details
It's like a
wrong. Isn't that
Pokemon
cool?
Go type situation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, what a great, I've just never felt that in a community of hey, we're all human. We're all sharing this experience together. Let's connect over something.
Yes.
Have a grand
small
scavenger
as-
hunt and Easter egg hunt
How
all
fun,
year round.
How fun is that?
So I feel that sense of community here, and I'm so happy to have that for my family and my kids.
It's such an important thing to have, for all ages, but I would say especially for kids. We living now in this digital age, this podcast age, community, touching grass, that person-to-person contact, it is harder and rarer
It is.
these days. And so what used to just be natural because you knew your neighbors, you knew all of them, you knew the entire cul-de-sac, now you have to go out and find community.
Well, so as a Gen Xer, I'm a 74 model from the 1900s. So
Fantastic.
I love saying that. As a Gen Xer, I built a media company and with my partner because we know how to relationship build a lot better in person. So now we get to invite you to our media company. You get to sit at a table and we still get to talk to you in person and then broadcast it out to the masses and say, this is how awesome these people are. Because we're in it to win it. We're in it to help. And a lot of people don't understand the word help. They don't put a dollar sign with it. They're like, well, if you help, true help, you don't earn any money. Well, listen, if you can make a living by helping other people and you help 10, you get 20, why wouldn't you? Relationship building is usually the answer to everything, because why would you go outside of your network to do anything if you already, I got a guy, right? I love the feeling here is because in McHenry, if you have a question, especially for us outsiders, it's like, oh, I got a guy. You need to talk to Paulie, the elevator guy, if you got an elevator problem. It's a really.
Are you having elevator problems?
I do. We have an elevator. We don't. That's a lie. But I mean, that's just kind of it. Your plumbing, your electrical.
Yeah.
If you have a guy that you trust to come to your house, and that's the guy that, hey, they come and you're like, you hungry? That's the relationship that you have with them. You have a trusted network, and then you know that from the outside, there's a lot of gouging from the outside. Yeah. And true help, keeping families covered, kids in need, Gigi's Playhouse. I mean, listen, right when you think that there might be a need, somebody's got it covered here, literally, right? And I absolutely love that. And with the studio here, we say for not-for-profits, we'll talk about you. We want you to get noticed. We want your ROI, your ripples on impact to go out there. We want you to be known, right? To help so people who really need their help can see that there's something there for them, which is fantastic. So on the service side of things, in public service, what does it mean to you?
What a tee up.
I know.
So I would say there's whiff.
Right. That's my golfing game.
There are two kinds of public service. Yeah. There is the everyday one, the neighborly one, where it's, hey, a tree fell. There was a windstorm. How can I help? Bring your food over here. We'll put it in our fridge. We'll cook your food. We'll bring your kids to school. Whatever. It's just
whatever it takes.
It's not even public service. I would say it's community service or neighbor service. Humanity service. Let's call it that. Yeah. And then the other is that long-term vision and leadership. How do we get from here in 2026, where a lot of jobs are being lost and a lot of people are dealing with the affordability crisis in different forms? How do we get from here to 2036? That is a hard, big question. You need a lot of different experts across industries involved in shaping it out, but there is a way. Finding that way, finding the stakeholders that will be involved in bringing us forward, bringing us all together, and making it a plan and putting it into action. That's the other side of public service.
Yeah, that's awesome. And, when you have hurdles that are being thrown at you at 100 miles an hour, too, for that journey, the more you have in your network, the more those hurdles become just milestones.
Right.
And it's about the goals that you put together and the sub-goals that reach those goals.
Because, again, you've got a guy. An elevated
absolutely.
person.
Listen, I have a motto with my personal development tools is, don't create... If you're creating a year out in your goal line, you don't know how many turns you're going to have to get to get to that. So make it a 6 month and then create sub goals to make that 6 month marker, and then you could press to your next 6 months. It's easier to see and predict. Where a lot of places go, hey, we're going to go, what's our next 15 years look like? I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing tomorrow. You know what I mean? Both. It could be changed, right?
You need to know tomorrow. You need to know 15
A stretch
years.
goal is great, right? Yeah. This is where I want to be in 15 years. But how do we get there? How do we get to that milestone goal, right? What about you, Sue? Public service.
Well,
humanity service, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I've been involved in Rotary for 20 years, and one of the things that we just sponsored was the People in Need Forum at MCC, which was the 24th of January, and our Rotary Club was there helping set up, and we helped fund the directory. So there were 125 organizations, mostly nonprofits, that provide services to people in need. I mean, everything from Habitat to Humanity, food pantries, diaper bank, everything in between, and they're all in one place at one time. So they had about 1,000 people come and visit that. Two kinds of people, some people looking for the things they need, and some people looking for understanding who else is out there, partnering and positively, so that if I'm Habitat, I know who else is out there that's doing something to help out Home of the Sparrow. Who's with Home of the Sparrow now, and how do I interact with these people so that I can really do a good job for the people that I'm trying to serve? So we have a lot of that in McHenry County.
They were also doing workshops, so connecting and training people. I mean, it was everything from our division of transportation to a professor at MCC talking about digital withdrawal and stepping away from the phone, the TikTok, the algorithm.
Yeah, so a lot of that opportunity. And so Rotary has been a big channel for me. I've been able to, actually our Rotary Club, the Dawnbreakers, was one of the starts of the diaper bank in McHenry County back in the other century. No, it was probably 2010 or something. Yeah, it was 2010. And then we took that to the Rotary Convention in New Orleans in 2010 and promoted the idea of a diaper bank to the International Rotary Conference, which had 20,000 people at it from all over the world. So,
Snowballs.
So these little things that we all do, and we look at opportunities. The other thing I think about community service or humanity, helping humanity is being creative. I mean, a lot of times, even this diaper bank idea was somebody's idea. And how do we do this? Well, it started out that they were collecting diapers from the families, but they're expensive.
Yeah, they are.
One of our members, Father Jim Swarthout, had a connection, an old college friend at Kimberly-Clark. And he reached out, and then Kimberly-Clark became anchored in this and became a national organization. So it's amazing how these little pieces come together, and we always don't know what part we're going to play.
Right.
And,
you don't.
But the big key is that we're kind of up there to play. We're paying attention, we're looking at the needs that are going on, and we're saying, okay, well, wait a minute, who do you know, Austin? Who do you know, Anna? How can we work on this? And boy, talk about improving the quality of life for our community.
Yeah.
That creativity and that willingness to, kind of step outside the box. That's where I think we're going to get the next decade.
100%.
Looking at
Crowdsourcing, basically.
Yes, crowdsourcing, and also looking at looking at where we could be versus here's where we are. How do we do this again next year?
Right.
What do we
We're
need
not
to
wash,
do
rinse,
differently?
repeating.
Right.
Right. We're like, how do we go outside the box? Because when you swim in the pool with everybody else, you're not noticed in the pool. If you go outside of the pool and find a way to do things, 9 times out of 10, the traction hits. And when that traction hits, it just pulls you to the next level. Then people are like, hey, let's get into the next pool. And then you got to find your way out of that pool. That's just in business, period. And everything really is a business model if you really think about it, just due to the fact of how things come together in an event. Still a business model. How do things work in reality? Now, listen, with inflation and everything else that we're having today, there's a lot of struggle. Right. And so now as coming together in a community, some of these businesses and restaurants and whatnot, they have to charge more money. They got to pay the fuel prices. They're paying inflated prices on food just the same. So how do they make a bottom line? And so a lot of people don't understand that. They're like, that restaurant's just too expensive. So then it gets tainted and then it gets faded out a little bit. And then they're struggling to try to, right? That's why I try to push for the local side of things. And listen, it might cost a little bit more money, but you're taking care of your neighbor.
Yes, the money comes back.
Absolutely. Keep filtering the money in your, what I call the McHenry compound. We keep taking care of each. I know it sounds weird, but we keep the money in house, right? And we keep
commune. We're a bit of a cult.
Yes, you are. There's no question about that. Coming from the South Side Chicago.
Y'all are weird.
Public service, humanity service, serving humanity. I like how Sue put it best.
Yeah. Okay.
Serving
Well,
humanity.
there's a story. So, I grew up pretty poor in the rural South.
Okay.
It did not feel to me in my family and in my community like there was a way to make change. We did not feel connected to our government, to our community at large. There was a lot more of like you go to your church and people help you through your church and things like that. There was definitely that kind of community, but it seemed inaccessible to think that you could reach out to government. It just was not a thing. So I went to school, got a bachelor's degree in journalism. I had worked for the newspaper in my hometown and, had those kind of experiences that I mentioned earlier of like seeing how the community could come together. But I also went to city council meetings. I went to the police department and made, relationships with people there. I spent a lot of time at the courthouse. So I was going out and engaging with these government organizations that the way I grew up, I just didn't feel that I belonged there. And it took me a very long time. It was a couple of years after I graduated college. I went to basically like a county board meeting. We don't have counties in Louisiana. We have parishes, but it was the equivalent of our county board meeting. And as a reporter covering the meeting, and afterward I had to go up and ask questions to a member. And I remember even then, having worked in newspapers for years, having gone through, and gotten my bachelor's degree in journalism, I still did not feel that I had authority to speak to this person. I felt, why would
Imposter syndrome.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Like, why would they tell me? Why would they speak to me? Why would they interact with me? So it was a series of years, it wasn't until about 5 or 6 or 7 years later that I remember actually feeling like I belonged in the spaces that I walked into. So my public service journey has been more about feeling at home in those spaces and bringing other people with me, like teaching other people if your child is struggling in school and you've been to the teacher and you've been to the principal and you're not getting the help that you need, where do you go next? How do you engage with the district, with your school board,
Right.
with these organizations that exist to serve, the community that we live in? And to me, I look at public service as helping us all create the world that we want to live in. And I think that I want to help people see it that way. And
I love
see
that.
You can step in and do this thing, whether maybe it's just going to a school board meeting, maybe it's getting up and speaking at a school board meeting, at whatever level you're starting at, wherever you're comfortable. Here's how you can engage. Let's do this together. Let's build the community that we want to live in.
See, that's democracy. We all have to be an active stakeholder. It's not just voting. It's not just reading a headline every once in a while, catching 5 minutes of Fox or CNN. It's actually knowing the local issues and the national issues too, and getting involved in them.
Well, those all
That's
connect.
so important.
Those
They
all
do.
connect. But you have to kind of tackle what's home first before you can try to reach out and make a difference in the world. You can make a difference in the world. I love how you put shaping the world. And here's my bumper stickers. Usually, I don't lower my standards to match the world. I raise it to shape the world. Then that way, if anybody comes aboard, they're already on that train with me, right? And it takes many to make differences. It doesn't just take one. It takes many, many people to agree to disagree as well. And most people in the world today don't remember that it's okay to disagree with each other and not hate each other.
Hey, the founding fathers hated each other.
Correct.
But e pluribus unum.
Absolutely.
From many.
Absolutely.
One.
And so with a great answer, by the way, with what's happening now, is there anything that we want to talk about for what's coming up into the future, where we want to be in McHenry County? We'll start with you.
I mean, it all just comes back to affordability. So if we look back from now to 30 years ago, the median household income in Illinois has grown 20%. It's now $84,000 per household median. Some are a lot more, some are a lot less than that. But all the costs associated with living in Illinois or in the U.S. have gone up way more. So one easy example, the average single-family home over the same period has doubled. Income up 20%, great, grand. Houses up 100%. And then you add in, grocery costs and insurance costs and utilities and gas. That mismatch is untenable. And again, it will take a community to solve it. It will take Chicagoland, the state of Illinois, the Midwest, the United States, actually looking at this problem and trying to figure out how do we bring costs down to a manageable level where a new family starting out can say, you know what, yeah, we can afford both diapers and a trip to Six Flags, or just to work.
I love that you look at both sides to that. A lot of people, what I hear is they're like, well, we're increasing our living standards, for people's homes, their income, and everything else. I'm like, but we went up 400% on costs and fixed costs, right? To where we're still behind the marker. Every American dream, period, is how do I grow above the marker?
And what do I leave for my children and my grandchildren?
Well, the legacy.
Yes.
How do I leave my legacy? Not everything's material, but what can I leave for my kids and my kids' kids and that legacy as a person on how to? And the answer is usually help each other. And that has been since, I don't know, the dawn of time. But, it's easy to forget that because there's a lot of I want the new Tesla. Well, okay, got it. That's okay to have a want. But what's needed for everybody to grow, right? And I love our community because we focus on just that. How do we grow beyond the marker versus just, hey, what's our next break-even marker? Yeah, we don't do that here, right? That's why we have people like you at this table making that kind of difference.
I mean, if we can, secure that floor of food, water, shelter, safety, then we can start moving on towards purpose and dreams and potential and all of that. But yeah, they are stepping stones.
Sue, for you, what's next? What's coming up that we should all be like, ooh, that's going to be great? Because you're in everything.
Okay, I'll tell you.
Spill the beans.
So my client base is very diverse. I'm a marketing public relations firm. But one area that I've done a lot of work with in McHenry County is the mental health arena. I've served the Mental Health Board as their marketing arm for many, many years. I also work with the Suicide Prevention Task Force, the 988 billboards and things you've seen, our work working with
Correct.
that organization. And I also have worked with NAMI, which is the National Alliance of Mental Illness. And in McHenry County, the big news is they just got a building. They were given a gift, an anonymous gift of $1.3 million in October. They purchased a building on Memorial Drive in over by the post office, if you're familiar with that part of town. They cover the county and beyond with free mental health resources led by volunteers that have dealt with mental health issues in
that's
their homes and
fantastic
families.
news.
And so what this building has now is 3,500 square feet. I'm not going to remember the address, but you can look it up because they're in the building now. So they bought the building. They have tons of donations for furniture, including some from Dobbe Marketing that I couldn't use anymore, and some fabulous artwork. And they've got two components in there beyond the usual workshops and activities that they do. They have a new living room program, and that living room program means that instead of going to the emergency rooms in the hospital when you're dealing with a mental health issue, you can go to this NAMI location. It's trained professionals in there. They will meet with you and find out what's going on. If it's crisis level and has to be referred to the hospital, you will be. But if it's something that you're looking just to have some community or some support or just need some quiet space away from whatever is causing it, you can come to one of 5 rooms on the site. You'll have individual care in each of those rooms. Individuals will have individual care. And there's an art room, there's a sensory room, there's just a quiet room. I mean, just a really interesting variety of options there. And so these spaces are going to be where, again, families can bring a child even who's dealing with an anxiety, panic attack, something where going and sitting at an ER for 3 hours to be diagnosed
Doesn't make anything better.
Right.
Exactly. It makes
HR,
it
ER,
worse.
it's the same thing.
These things are just, so this is a really exciting program. So that's called the Living Room. I
love that.
They are an evidence-based program. They're all over the country now in different communities. It's going to be the first time we have one in McHenry County.
Such a huge step.
It's a great program, and it's fully staffed. So it's staffed from 12:30 to 8 p.m. Monday through Friday. They're looking for additional grant funding so that they can expand that.
Make it 24/7 if possible.
Right, but right now the grants are, the usage timing is based on what's being used in other places. So that's what they've got there. And then also in that same space, they have a drop-in center. So the biggest issue with mental illness, mental health, mental
Wellness.
crisis is isolation. A lot of us, in our digital world and in communities where we don't necessarily connect person to person on a regular basis, we deal with this isolation. I know I'm talking too much.
No, gosh.
No, you're
You just
fine.
put up the NAMI link. So.
Just keep going.
Great, thank you. I'm sorry. So this drop-in center is for people who feel like, okay, I haven't been around anybody. I mean, working in my home base office, and connecting with everybody on social media, but
not the
I
same.
haven't
It
talked
needs to
to
be tangible.
somebody.
You
I
need
haven't
to
looked
touch
Drew in
grass.
the eyes. I haven't met Anna and had a chance to have coffee with her. I need to go somewhere where I can feel safe, but I can connect. And so this drop-in center is geared for that. You can come and read a book. You can come and do a puzzle. You can attend a workshop on various grief management, various topics. Take a yoga class. It's all free. It's all available here in McHenry County, and again, it's very accessible. And these are our friends and neighbors who are managing this
What an
program.
awesome,
That's public service.
awesome
Yeah,
concept.
Abby
man.
Nicholas is the executive director of NAMI, and she has talked about seeing the future. She's in place, I think this is her 3rd or 4th year, and she has taken this organization to a completely new level, and all for the best of all of us.
I love it. Oh, wow. That's exciting. I now found my new vacation for the summer.
Right?
The quiet room
Do some
alone.
jigsaw puzzles
The
together.
quiet, couple of jigsaw puzzles,
safe
quiet
space
room.
can change
little
your
yoga.
your whole life.
It's amazing too because it's a facility that brings people together too. where you can actually also build new relationships.
Exactly.
What a fantastic
The
setup.
relationships of people in common interests. I
Correct.
mean, you're dealing with, okay, I have anxiety issues, I have depression issues, I have a family member that's going through, recovery, and these are all things that by sharing the knowledge of what we experience,
It's how to overcome.
we can improve
Yeah.
our experience and help each other.
That message of you are not alone, it is repeated 1,000 times. It should be repeated 1,000,000 times more because it is so true. And yet it's so hard to believe. Like, no, like these struggles, they're so personal. Like no one else can be facing this. No, we're all human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the more we accept that and more we embrace it, that we are human and that we're going to have down times, but there's
Correct.
places and things that we can do to improve that situation, the more we're going to elevate our quality of life in our society.
Wow, Sue, that's fantastic. I'd love to actually have more of a conversation. I know you're on a crunch time today, but no, let's talk about that into the near future because we would love to actually maybe even tour that place, show it on camera. You can host it. I'm okay with that.
Abby is
It's
a
not your
fabulous
first rodeo.
interview, too. You would be
Yes,
talking with her.
love
She's
it,
an
love
amazing
it.
woman.
So for you, what do we have for what are we looking for to the future here?
I'm really looking forward to seeing how McHenry County continues to grow, because when I worked here, more than a decade ago, it was a very different place. And just coming here and seeing the changes, I'm encouraged, and I think that there are a lot of interesting developments still to come. So back around Christmas, my kids and I were eating dinner at Jexel's in McHenry, and we kept seeing people come in pajamas, and there were a lot of kids and families, and we were like, what's going on? Well, it turned out there was a hot cocoa stroll going on the riverfront there, on the Riverwalk. And so we just kind of walked around and saw what there was to see, kind of walked down the riverfront a bit, down to the shops at the, what do they call that?
The Riverwalk?
Yeah, it's at the Riverwalk, and it was just really cool. And it was such a fun night. And I thought, wow, I didn't realize you could have this kind of experience here in McHenry. And so that was, to me, I feel like it was really encouraging. And I have one of my kids, my daughter, is very interested in Norway, and she feels like she wants to live there. She's learned the language. She, really is interested in it. That night when we walked down, there were some little townhouses, condos or something there along the river. She always talks about how much better how they use land so much better in Norway, and they there's housing and things like that are more like compact and kind of better use of the land. And I pointed the condos out to her, and I said, you could live here. Like I said, how about if you live here and I get you a Norway flag to put in your front yard?
And a Viking helmet.
Yeah, the little Norway neighborhood of McHenry.
Right. That's totally true, though. The condos, I know exactly where you're talking.
Yeah.
How they utilize it, and they're gorgeous.
They are.
And they have plenty of room. The Riverwalk's an interesting place too.
It is a sign of a changing county. So in 2025, this last year, McHenry County grew by 2,500 people. Chicago shrunk by 6,000. So
We took some of them.
yeah, like Chicagoland, the Chicago metropolitan area, the collar counties, they are growing as, the suburbs become urban, the exurbs become suburban, rural areas become a little more built up. That wave is just going to keep continuing. And if developments like the Riverwalk and, what's happening now in Crystal Lake continue in a effective and collaborative way, fantastic.
Nice.
I welcome it.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. I agree with you.
And maybe we can convince some of our kids to stay local. I mean, if they feel like their community is developing in a way that speaks to them and that, feels like home to them,
Correct.
maybe they'll stay.
Yeah.
Right, and that leads right into the segue of my last question here, because we're going to have to wrap it up. So, what advice would you give the new generation on how to get involved with community in order to help it grow?
So it is easy to get involved digitally. It is hard, it is exhausting, maybe anxiety inducing to get involved in person. But speaking back to Rotary specifically, we do have sort of youth chapters at a few of the different high schools across McHenry County. And these youth chapters exist everywhere that Rotary Club does. Finding something that you're passionate about, whether it is Norwegian culture or whatever organization.
Sure.
Actually getting involved in person more than just a like and a comment on Instagram or TikTok. It's so rewarding for your mental health. And, also just building your identity up, helping you find out what you want to do. As I was saying before we started, I had no idea what I wanted to be when I was in high school. Right. And it's changed over the years. And that's healthy. That's good. Like, you do not have to be stuck on a single track.
No, you don't.
But you cannot find where you're supposed to go from a screen.
True. And I'm pretty sure even through all the way to the end of your journey, there's always going to be a question of where do I belong?
Hopefully.
Right? Yes. Otherwise, curiosity is what keeps education going, right? So what about you, Sue?
Well, we've got a couple of really great programs in McHenry County. The Rotaract is one in the high schools. We also have Leadership Greater McHenry County, which is a fabulous organization to cultivate our next level of leaders in the county. A lot of new businesses or entrepreneurs, professional services, or even corporate people that come into the county and want to kind of integrate. They want to get anchored real quickly. They join that organization. You really get a full scope of what's going on in the county. So that and we also have some just fabulous programs. I was just invited this week by McHenry County College to speak to the Huntley High School students about marketing careers.
Nice.
And then, they've got this marketing challenge that they're doing. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to do both things because sometimes I got to work. But
Stop being so busy.
Can you not clone yourself 30 times?
That's what we need.
But no, it's just very exciting what's going on. And again, I think we are cultivating our youth in a good way in McHenry
Yes.
County. We've got a lot of avenues, internships. Each of the chambers of commerce have programs where they're offering, opportunities to connect for students to get that summertime job or even just a couple of weeks during the holidays so that they can see what it's like to do a career. Because there's nothing worse than getting through those years of college and then go like, oh, I don't like this.
Right. That's true. That's true.
Lots of opportunities. And the other thing I love is our entrepreneurship, the incubator businesses like we have.
That's a phenomenal
Huntley
program.
and in McHenry. And I'm, I know some of those folks and I'm just in awe of what we're doing there. And talk about, a side hustle when the economy's not good to open a romance bookstore on the Riverwalk when people are out there during the summer, whether they're going to sit on their boat and read or just sit on the beach or something.
How idyllic. Yeah.
Very fun stuff going on around here.
I love it. What about you? What advice would you give the new generation on how to be involved in the community?
I have some insight into this, having 17-year-old twins. You're right, Austin. I'm going to echo you a little bit that, it's easy to sit behind a screen and have strong feelings about how you'd like to see things change. It's a different thing entirely to put your feet on the ground, go to a place where other people are doing what you care about and just do it alongside them. It's find a friend who's also interested in similar things, reach out, make connections, meet people, because it makes such a difference. I was able to see my daughter recently, actually put her feet on the ground, do something that she cared about, show her support for a cause that she really believed in alongside other people, and the energy coming from those other people, I saw it in her eyes. She just came alive. So I think that's what our kids need to be doing. It's easy to feel like things aren't going the way I want and I can't do anything.
Correct.
But all you have to do is do something. There are so many organizations who would be thrilled if you just showed up to a meeting, much less if you gave up a Saturday to, volunteer for something. It's not as big and unapproachable as it might feel to just get involved and do something. Just do something.
I love it.
Just do something.
That's a T-shirt waiting to happen. I think Nike took the alternative to that. Listen, you become the space you surround yourself in. If you're surrounding yourself on nothing but looking at the internet, you're not getting the energy, because energy is addictive. if you get the right energy, it helps move you into directions that you didn't even know opportunities lied. Because listen, there's a lot of opportunity online. I'm in a media company. I'm online.
I believe you know.
You know, so I do understand it. But there's still nothing like putting down the digital, shaking a hand, or fist bumping in today's world, right? Shaking a hand, fist bumping somebody, and trying to make a conversation. Because conversations in person are different than they would be online. It's not a cold email or a read from a text. You can't feel the personality that comes off of it. And the new generation uses emojis for that. I don't understand it because I'm not that generation. But I can tell them, no matter what you do in life, go out, be the change you want to see in the world, right? That's a bumper sticker waiting to happen.
Yes, it is.
And it's okay to go, if you want to get over your fear of dealing personally with somebody, because the big fear is ever since COVID and really pushing to be online more and people working from home. I get all that, and it can be a convenience, but don't take away the human aspect of going to communicate with other people. Go see that giant yellow ball in the sky once in a while too. That's okay. That's vitamin D. It's good for you.
Touch grass.
Trust me, touch grass. Take your shoes off. Get it buried, right? But listen, guys, I really appreciate you coming on the show. This was fantastic. I had a lot of fun. You guys are a lot of fun. And I don't want to make Sue late for her next adventure. No, that's okay. Please don't apologize.
A busy woman.
Listen, everybody, hey, let's talk local. Check us out, 216 Creator Studios on the old YouTube there. Like, share, subscribe, ding that bell for future notifications. We appreciate everybody. Until next time, be good.
Every story's worth a little bliss. From the heart of the town to the open air, let's talk local, we're taking you there. 216 Creator Studios, where the magic starts. Local businesses, their real work of arts. From the cafes